Welcome back, everyone! You know, there's nothing quite like planning that dream vacation, right? You spend all that money, you're picturing perfect beaches or ancient ruins, and then something just goes sideways. Have you ever felt that, Paul?
Oh, absolutely, Emily. More times than I'd like to admit. Honestly, I remember one trip. I was so excited, had everything mapped out, or so I thought, and then I realized I completely overlooked a visa requirement. Talk about a heart-stopping moment at the airport.
See? That's exactly what we're talking about today. Those easily avoidable mistakes that can turn a dream trip into a bit of a nightmare. Whether it's missing a flight, getting scammed, or just ending up sick because you ate something dodgy, these things happen. But they don't have to.
Right. We've all been there, and even seasoned travelers like us can slip up. But the good news is, with a little planning and awareness, you can seriously reduce the chances of these problems cropping up. We're talking about saving money, protecting your belongings, reducing stress, and just genuinely enjoying your trip from start to finish.
Exactly, because traveling is, without a doubt, one of life's greatest adventures. It lets us explore different cultures, taste incredible food, meet fascinating people, and make memories that truly last a lifetime. But as Paul just mentioned, it definitely comes with its challenges. And a lot of those challenges aren't bad luck. They're often due to poor preparation.
Which is why we're diving into the most common tourist mistakes people make before, during, and even after their trip. We're going to arm you with practical strategies to travel smarter, spend less, stay safer, and truly soak up every single moment of your journey. So let's kick things off with what I think is one of the biggest blunders travelers make before they even leave home.
Oh, I know exactly what you're thinking. Not researching your destination. It's such a fundamental one, but it's so easy to just assume things will be similar to home or to where you've traveled before. But every country, every region is so different.
Totally. I mean, different customs, different laws, transportation systems that are completely alien, unique scams, specific safety concerns, the list goes on. You really need to spend some time digging into the local customs, the weather patterns, the currency, emergency numbers, how public transport works, even which neighborhoods are considered safe. I almost walked into a really awkward situation once because I didn't realize how strict the dress code was for religious sites in Southeast Asia.
Oh, I can imagine! And even something as simple as learning a few basic words like hello, thank you, please. It goes such a long way, right? People really appreciate the effort, and it can open so many doors, or at least help you avoid accidentally offending someone. It's truly your first layer of protection, just knowing what you're stepping into.
Absolutely. It's respect, plain and simple. Okay, next up, and this one is a bit of a soapbox issue for me, traveling without travel insurance. So many people think it's an unnecessary expense, like, oh, that won't happen to me, until, of course, something goes wrong.
Exactly! You hear horror stories all the time. Someone breaks a leg on a hiking trip abroad, or they miss a connecting flight, or their luggage goes missing, or their passport gets stolen. Medical bills overseas can run into the tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's absolutely wild.
It is, and the funny thing is, a good travel insurance policy often costs less than a single nice dinner out. It protects your health, your luggage, sometimes even your trip cancellation costs. Seriously, folks, don't leave home without it. It's peace of mind you can't put a price on.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, changing gears a little, but another incredibly common mistake, and I'm guilty of this, is packing too much. I mean, who hasn't spent their entire trip dragging a ridiculously heavy suitcase upstairs through crowded airports or over cobblestone streets?
Every single time, Emily, every single time I swear I'm going to pack light, and then I'm like, but what if I need this obscure thing? And then I'm regretting it within minutes of landing. My rule now, if I can stick to it, is pack for 1 week. Even if you're traveling for 3. Most places have laundromats, or your hotel can do laundry. Bring versatile stuff that mixes and matches.
That's a great rule. I try to live by the 3 pairs of shoes max rule, which is a struggle for me, but it makes such a difference. The lighter you travel, the easier your trip becomes, truly. You're more mobile, less stressed about hauling things around. It's freedom, really.
It absolutely is. Speaking of freedom, or rather, the lack thereof if you forget something crucial. How about forgetting important documents? Imagine arriving at the airport, all hyped up, only to realize your passport expired, or your visa wasn't approved, or your hotel confirmation disappeared into the ether.
Oh, the sheer panic! My heart just sank thinking about it. Always double-check your passport's expiration date months in advance. Make sure your visa is secured if needed. Boarding passes, hotel reservations, travel insurance docs, emergency contacts. And here's a pro tip. Keep both digital and physical copies. Scan everything and store it securely online, like in a cloud folder you can access from anywhere. If you lose your actual passport, having copies can seriously speed up the replacement process.
That's such a smart move, Emily. It's a small step that can save you a massive headache. All right, let's talk money, because this is where a lot of people make a mistake right off the bat. Exchanging money at the airport.
Ugh, the airport exchange counters are notorious for terrible exchange rates. They prey on the fact that you've just landed, you're tired, you need local currency, and you're not thinking clearly. My advice? Don't do it. Or if you absolutely must, just exchange a tiny amount to get you by for an hour or two.
Exactly. What you should be doing instead is using ATMs from reputable banks. Once you're in the city, you'll almost always get a much better rate. Or even better, use travel-friendly credit cards that have no foreign transaction fees. Those small differences in exchange rates can easily cost you hundreds of dollars over an entire vacation, you know?
Absolutely. Those little fees add up. All right, another big one, and this ties back to our first point about research, is ignoring local customs. Every culture is different, and what's normal in one place can be deeply offensive in another.
Definitely. I mean, in some countries, you take your shoes off before entering someone's home. Tipping isn't always expected everywhere, or it might even be considered rude. Public displays of affection, certain clothing requirements for religious sites, these are all things you need to be aware of. I saw a tourist once get really defensive about being asked to cover their shoulders in a temple, and it just created such an uncomfortable scene. It's just about respect, isn't it? You're a guest.
Totally. You're a guest, so act accordingly. It creates better experiences for everyone, including yourself, and helps you avoid awkward situations. And speaking of experiences, let's talk about food. A common mistake, eating only at tourist restaurants.
Oh, this is my pet peeve. Those restaurants right next to famous attractions, they often charge astronomical prices for very average, sometimes even bad food. You're paying for the view, not the flavor. What you want to do is walk 3 or 4 blocks away, look for where the locals are eating, read recent reviews from actual people, not just the glossy tourist guides.
Yes, and visit local markets. That's where you find the most authentic flavors, often at a fraction of the price. Don't be afraid to ask hotel staff or even locals you meet for recommendations. Some of the best meals I've ever had have been in tiny, family-owned places off the main drag.
100%. You get a real taste of the culture, literally. Okay, moving into modern travel concerns, another mistake is using free public Wi-Fi without protection. We're talking airport Wi-Fi, coffee shop Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi. It's convenient, but is it safe?
Not always. It's a hacker's playground, honestly. Public networks are often unsecured, making it easy for malicious actors to snoop on your data. So, my big warning, avoid online banking, shopping, or logging into any sensitive accounts while on public Wi-Fi. If you absolutely have to, use a VPN, a virtual private network, and always enable 2-factor authentication on everything you can. Protect your personal information.
Crucial advice there, Emily. Especially with so much of our lives online now, sticking with money, how about carrying too much cash? Cash is definitely useful, especially in some countries, but having all your vacation money in one wallet is a huge risk.
Oh, absolutely. It's just asking for trouble. My strategy is to separate my money. I'll carry a little cash for the day, maybe one credit card, and then have emergency cash hidden somewhere else, like in a money belt or a separate pouch in my luggage. And definitely keep one backup credit card stashed separately too. If your wallet gets stolen, you're not completely stranded.
That's exactly it. Redundancy is key when it comes to travel finances. Speaking of things getting stolen or worse, let's talk about not watching out for tourist scams. Scammers are unfortunately everywhere and they target tourists because they look unfamiliar, sometimes distracted, and often carry valuables.
This is so important. There are so many common scams. Fake taxis that overcharge or take you on a scenic route, the bracelet scam where someone puts a friendship bracelet on you and then demands money, fake petitions, overpriced currency exchanges, people pretending to be police officers. The list is endless. You just have to stay alert, trust your instincts. If something feels off or too good to be true, it probably is.